Hey, Shalom, Akim Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Chakorash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us this truth, and a sincere Shalom to all the hopeful elect out there listening, learning, and or teaching. Shalom to you all. All right, this article right here says children born now may live in a world where the U.S. can only produce half as much of its key food crops. And here you can see corn. All right, in the Midwest, corn is very big over here. All right, it says storm clouds build above a cornfield on August 27, 2024, near Platte City, Missouri. A new study finds U.S. maize yields could plummet as the world warms, even as farmers adapt to climate change. You see, so the world is heating up with this global warming, okay, which Esau is using that as an excuse, okay, to tell us why, all right, he can't produce as much GMO crops, all right? And we know that this devil's a liar, and there's always an excuse with this devil, okay? And I believe, this devil is destroying the earth, so it's very likely that it's true about the global warming, okay? But also you got to realize that this devil does not let the land rest, okay? In the scriptures, there's something called a land Sabbath, okay? This devil, he mingles seed. He doesn't let the land rest. He puts all type of chemicals on the plants and into the soil. He's wearing out the soil, using planting corn in one spot over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, never giving the land time to rest at all, man. The same way he works Jake to the bone at these plantation jobs is the same way he works the ground, the plants, everything is just all for profit. You know what I'm saying? Like I told y'all before, in these industries, with these corn industries, okay, what they do is they sell different companies this corn for planting, and it's a one-time use only, and it's by design so that those companies can plant that corn one season, and the next season they got to buy it all over again. So it's a forever profit-making machine, man. All right, and they've engineered the corn to be a certain way for profit. Again, is it for health? Hell no. It's for profit and taste, because profit and taste, that's what makes this wicked ass country go round, man. It's all about the superficial shit and filthy lucre and gaining one up on everybody, man. Okay, but without any further ado, let's get into this article real quick. It says rising global temperatures are set to devastate food crops across the world. There go your famines. Okay, did not the scriptures say that there would be famines? Okay, let's get that. Famines, pestilences, right? They talking about C-19 coming back. They talking about the bird illness. This is Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation. They go your race wars. And kingdom against kingdom, right? You got Iran, Israel, Iran, Russia, Ukraine, all that good stuff. And there shall be famines, right? And that's what we see in here. Famines, right? And in this case, Esau is blaming it on global warming, which he created through his capitalist society that he forces all of us to run on. This hamster wheel called America. Okay? And supposedly it's our fault because we're consumers, right? But anyway, it says, and there shall be famines, and pestilences and earthquakes. And of course, we've seen many, many earthquakes. I'll have to do a video on that. Okay, the earthquake meters are through the roof with how many earthquakes there's been. Okay, in diverse places, right? Because they're everywhere, man. These earthquakes are everywhere. Okay, but we are living in a time when all these things are happening. This is the beginning of sorrows, man. This is the time leading into Jacob's trouble, man. All right. So getting back into it, it's talking about how rising temperature is what's causing it. All right. Rising global temperatures are set to devastate food crops across the world, not just here in America, with particularly alarming impacts projected for the United States, where production of key crops could plummet 50% by the end of the century, according to a sweeping new analysis. All right, and it ain't gonna be the end of a century, man. It's gonna be now, okay? It's gonna be now, because we are measuring the time diligently within itself, and we know that Esau is a damn liar, okay? Just off the fact that he blames global warming on the people when it's really he's the one doing it. His leaders are the problem, man. The scriptures say, as the leaders, so the people, man. Okay, the people have this same attitude of just like living for the day. The same attitude of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right, so it continues. Of the many impacts of the fossil fuel-driven climate crisis, damage to the global food system is one of the most terrifying, but the overall impact of climate change on crops and how much it can be offset by farmers' adaptations, which that just means more chemicals, more fucking up the earth to fix a problem that they created, has been hard to establish and hotly debated. I wonder why it's debated. You know, what are these measures they're going to take to, keep these plants alive? They can't live anymore on fucked up soil, fucked up air, water. This whole planet is being run into the ground by these incompetent leaders, man. All right, and you so-called white people can't admit that it's your leaders, man. You guys are the ones ruling the earth, man. You can't blame it on the people. Okay, you can't blame it on anybody but yourselves, man. Right? Y'all in the driver's seat. You want to have that pride and act like you're better than everybody. Okay, take accountability for your actions, man. All right? That's why we tell you Israelites, man, to stop worshiping this devil, man. Look how incompetent he is. Can't even fucking... How do you fuck up corn, bro? How do you fuck up corn? You're supposed to just put it in the ground and let it grow. You see? But all your shenanigans now, worldwide, these things are having a problem growing, which ultimately the Lord controls you devils' minds anyway, because Yahweh controls all things, if y'all can understand that. All right, that's a little bit deeper than, anything you'll hear anywhere else, man. All right, yeah, we're against these devils, but we also understand this is the Lord's movie, because Yahweh controls good and evil. All right, so ultimately, this is all being done to fulfill prophecies. All right. The new analysis, 8 years in the making, is the first attempt to really tackle both of those problems, says Solomon Hsiang, a study author and professor of global environmental policy at the Stanford Doerr School of Sustainability. The scientists analyzed 6 crops, maize, soybean, rice, wheat, cassava, and sorghum, in more than 12,000 regions across 54 countries. Together, these crops provide more than 2/3 of humanity's calories. Ain't that interesting, man? That's a spiritual number, man. We know that 2/3 of our people that are living here in Babylon the Great are going to be destroyed in this thermonuclear destruction. They're going to be fucked up in Jacob's trouble. They're going to be getting fucked up, right? Okay. But nevertheless, this is going into, 2/3 of humanity's calories. That means there's going to be a great famine, man. All right. The scriptures say there would be people breaking into houses for the lack of bread, man. So you can expect your neighbors to become your worst enemy once these famines start kicking in, man. And they're going to kick in sooner, man, because the Lord is going to speed things up. See, this devil, he thinks that the world's going to run on his clock. Little does he know the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, is speeding things up for the elect. So they saying within the next, what? By the end of the century. Okay, so Esau thinks it's going to take, what are we in, 2025? They think it could take, close to another 70, 75 years for this to kick in. Nah, it's going to kick in here this year, next year. Okay, because these devils are overestimating themselves. Okay, this planet has been run into the ground, man. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to speed up prophecy, man. All right, you devils are not on your own watch. You're on the Lord's watch. All right, which is why, these devils, the Lord is going to force their hand, man, because they want to stay in this stalemate forever. Just, oh yeah, we're just, because they know the prophecies, man. They know as soon as they come down with that great wrath, Yahweh Shai is going to crack the clouds. All right. Once this MOTB is mandated and Jacob's trouble is underway. Okay. Well, actually, when Jacob's trouble is on the way and then the MOTB is mandated, right, in that order, all right, that's when Yahweh Shai is going to return. So, they think if they just keep kicking a can down the road forever, they'll just stay in their kingdom. But they don't realize the Lord is going to force these devils' hands, man. All right. It says they also measured how real world farmers are adapting to climate change, from changing crop varieties to adjusting irrigation to calculate the overall impact of global warming, right? Changing crop varieties, they probably fucking with the DNA of the plants and shit, These devils will do everything but the right thing. Their findings are stark. Every 1 degree Celsius the world warms above pre-industrial levels will drag down global food production by an average of 120 calories per person per day, according to the study published Wednesday in Nature. This will push up prices and make it harder for people to access food, Hsiang said. Right, just in time for prophecy, man. Just in time for Jacob's trouble. If the climate warms by 3 degrees, that's basically like everyone on the planet giving up breakfast, he said. The world is currently on track for around 3 degrees Celsius of warming by the end of the century. Okay, so if it's up 3 degrees by the end of the century, that means before the end of the century, it'll go up 1 or 2 degrees. So we don't gotta wait 75 fucking years for this food chain to collapse, man. All right, because, on top of all this shit that's going on with the weather, you got tariffs, the economy imploding. That's also going to play a role. It's not just global warming, okay? Them destroying the ground, fucking up the ground. All right, let's get some scriptures, man. All right, this is Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto Yahweh. That's right. We don't just keep Sabbaths ourselves. The land must keep a Sabbath, man. So those of you that don't know the Sabbath, 6 days we do our work, but the 7th day we rest unto Yahweh. All right, that we may be refreshed. Okay, it's a holy day. All right, unto Yahweh, a day you're not supposed to do any work. Right. So the Lord, just like the Lord made the earth in 6 days or 6,000 years and rested the 7th day or the 7,000th year. Because a day with the Lord is 1,000 years and 1,000 years is a day. All right. So when you keep planting and planting and planting and planting for years and decades and on the same piece of land, you don't give it rest, man. All right. The nutrients get depleted. The microorganisms get destroyed. And you just planting on dead dirt. All right. And the plants, they come out lacking nutrients. But see, Esau doesn't care about nutrients. Esau doesn't care about something that's healthy, about doing the right thing. All Esau cares about is money, profit, and draining everything and everybody and heaping all these treasures unto himself. Verse 3, 6 years shalt thou sow thy field, and 6 years shalt thou prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. Right, so 6 years you plant and harvest. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for Yahweh. Thou shalt neither sow thy field nor prune thy vineyard. Right. Verse 5, that which grows of its own accord of thy harvest thou shalt not reap, neither gather the grapes of thy vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. So let the land do what it's going to do for 1 year. Leave it alone. But Esau is constantly harassing the Lord's creation. You see? This is Timothy 6 and verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Okay? And, that's going into Israelites who have you know, erred from the faith. All right, but this also applies to Esau as far as the love of money. Okay, this is why this world is so wicked and evil, because you know, America, the leader, right, the leading nation, has this spirit of loving money. All right, it's called capitalism. Everything is about profit, profit over people, profit over health, profit over Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and that's why they planting nonstop. All these different corn companies and soy companies and all these different plants. All right, that's how all these farmers do it. You know, putting chemicals in the corn, planting it nonstop. You know, making it so that the corn can only be planted one time, so they could keep draining the people for money. Hey, all these freaking corn companies, man, all these different warehouse jobs and shit, they only exist because Esau wants a money-making machine. All right, but it wasn't designed to be like that. See, the Lord made the seeds so they could reproduce over and over again. So once you sell seed to somebody, they don't need to buy it from you again. See, but Esau doesn't like the fact that food grows for free, that all these different jobs are unnecessary, but he uses that as a means to basically just make money and basically extort money from the people. All right, because half of these fucking jobs don't even matter. All right, like the whole I don't want to say it. Let me say it. You know, the pill pushing industry, right? When you feel like you're sick, you go to somebody called a doctor, right? And then they write you a paper, right? Just trying to throw off that algorithm, because they be on our videos, you know. But yeah, man, they you know, they'll write you a paper. You go to the pharmacy and you buy pills. You take them and they don't work, right? It's an industry. It's a money making industry, man. All right, the cure for 90% of these illnesses is to stop eating fast food. All right, get up off your ass and exercise a little bit. Get enough sleep. Manage your stress levels. Okay, it's very simple, man. All right, and then if you got like fucked up shoulders and shit like that, you know, there's rehab exercises you can do. There's anti-inflammatory herbs you can take. All right, and you know, supplements. Right, that should be the real medicine right there. Not, oh, take this pill that just numbs the pain, but then it causes your stomach to bleed, and you take it for years and years, and you don't know your shoulder and your knees are getting fucked up, but you don't feel it. You know, what kind of solution is that? They're showing you that these devils, man, you know, they've created a great world for themselves to siphon money out of people. All right, but really they're a virus and a drain on the people. It's like having a leech in your body. Okay, because the world would run so much smoother if the laws of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai were implemented as the law of the land worldwide. Okay, the food would be more nutritious. Nobody would have pain in their body. Think how productive the whole world could be if nobody had illnesses. All right, and that is a possibility. If not only is it possibility, inevitability. Okay, in the kingdom of heaven. All right, but if Esau, you know, in a hypothetical scenario that, you know, this ain't gonna happen, but you know, let's say Esau started following the laws of Yahweh Bashim Shai and having that spirit on him to do what's right, right? There wouldn't be damn near any illnesses worldwide, man. People wouldn't need healthcare, Medicare, fucking dental, vision, all that bullshit. Those industries wouldn't need to exist. All right, all the factories that make the products that those industries use, all the different needles, all the different pills, all the different fucking instruments, and hiring people and training people and sending them to college for 4 years, and you know, all the infrastructure to build the colleges, all those things wouldn't need to exist, man. So this devil is draining the whole world, creating industries that don't even need to exist, because he doesn't want to follow the ways of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. He wants to come around some other way and basically, you know, get the same blessing that Jacob got, but he wants to get it by force. He thinks he's going to do it on his own, eliminate the Israelites, implement this AI technology to take over the world, and basically colonize the universe the same way he colonized America by being a damn devil and a thief. But the Lord is not gonna let it happen, man. Creation is going through pure hell, especially the elect of Yasharallah, man. We hate this place. Lord's will I be one of them. We're here every day feeling like a fish out of water, for lack of a better word, because like the scriptures say, we're in this world, but we're not of this world, man. We see all the evils that are done, and we complain continually to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai to come back to end this world, man, and to set up the kingdom of heaven. All right. But yeah, like the scriptures say, when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. You see, roughly paraphrasing. And that's why the world is so fucked up, and nobody is enjoying this, man. Even a lot of these Edomites out here feel like they're oppressed by their leaders, man. Those leaders are so unprofitable, man. They have a good portion of their own people in captivity. You know? This is Romans chapter 8. We'll start with 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Right? We are suffering. We're going through hell. We're under the curses. This devil done ruined the whole earth. All right? And we're just waiting patiently for Yahweh Shai. All right? But all these sufferings we're going through doesn't compare with the glory. All right? We will be glorified with Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Shai first. And then everybody's going to know who the elect is too. All right? We're going to go from the bottom of the barrel to the top. All right? We're going to be leaders of the new world. And it's going to be a very beautiful thing, man. All right? And all the promises that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has promised us. All right? Verse 19, for the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of the Most High. Right? And the sons of the Most High is the elect. All right? And really all of Israel. All right? But right now the elect is in their right mind, but not the 2/3, which they will be on the other side. All right? Once the kingdom comes and, the 2/3 come back as babies. Okay, they're going to come back in their right mind. All right. But it says, for the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of the Most High. Right. The creation is waiting for us to take rulership. Right. Because Esau being in rulership, the trees are depressed. The animals are depressed. The air and the water, if they had emotions, will be depressed. Because Esau is just fucking everything up. All right, just to put a few more dollars in his pocket. In his imaginary pyramid scheme society that he created. That's right, man. This society is a giant freaking pyramid scheme, man. The shit doesn't make any sense and it leads nowhere. All right, all it is a money-making, money-siphoning machine. Verse 20, for the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who has subjected the same in hope. Right, so, when Adam went off in the garden by eating the fruit, which represents the wicked philosophies, okay, that was ultimately the Lord's will, because the Lord controls all things. Yahweh controls all things, good and evil. Everything is controlled 100% by Yahweh. So, it was part of the Lord's movie. And it was part of the Lord's greater purpose, okay? And knowing that, we're going to be the judges of the earth, Lord's will, I'll be the elect, then guess what? Since we're going to be the judges of the earth, we got to understand good, but we got to understand evil as well. So that played a role in our growth, in our spiritual growth throughout all these different past lives that we lived in, okay? Verse 21, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of the light, right? So the corn, the dirt, the grass, the sky, the water is going to be delivered into our hands instead of Esau's hands. Right now, it's in Esau's hands, but the Lord's going to snatch creation out of Esau's hands and put it back in our hands, and we're going to rule this thing the right way. And life on this planet will flourish. Okay, life will flourish. Everything will be in perfect order and harmony and balance and beautiful and comely. Okay, it's not going to be a hot mess of trash. Like Esau got these oceans. He's got islands bigger than the size of Texas of plastic out there in the ocean, man. This devil got to go. Verse 22, for we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now, right? All of us are suffering, man. Even the fruits and the plants and the animals. All right? Verse 23, and not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. Right? Like I say, these decrepit bodies got us all, bummed out, A lot of us can't run anymore, can't jump anymore, we can't exert ourselves to our full strength because something's going to snap, crackle, pop. Everything's just, destroyed, man. All right? Our diets, we can only do so much. All right? This is Revelation 11 and 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, in the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth, right? Who's destroying the earth? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right, he blames it on everything and everybody but himself, but the Lord got his number, man. The Lord is watching. All right, the prophets of the Lord are watching. We know. We all know, Esau. We all know you are guilty as charged. And as the scriptures say, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai has a set time that he's going to destroy you for destroying the earth. All right, or destroy you who destroys the earth. You Edomites. All right, that time is coming, man. Yaquab's trouble, the MOTB mandation is right at the door. And so is the punishment, the destruction of Esau, Edom, and the transferring of the kingdom from Esau, Edom's hands to the hands of the elect, right? Under Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. This is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 4. The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. All right? Because Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is unprofitable. Okay, the only profit he knows how to make is his greenbacks, his fiat currency. That's the only profit he can make, is a pseudo profit, because really he's not making the earth any better. All right, he's not helping life. He's destroying life. All right, the whole world is at a point where if this devil was allowed to continue just another 100 years, all right, there wouldn't be any life left, man. This thing would be gone. Right? This planet needs to be under new management. Okay? And this devil Esau has got to go. All right? And all we waiting for is for Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai, in due time, he's going to be the king of the earth. All right? And under him is going to be King David. And we're going to establish that throne of David, just like in the ancient world when all the nations were subdued by King David. Okay? And all you nations are going to get your asses in order. And we're going to put you to work. But we're going to put you to work under our leadership and under the blueprint of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And all these nations are going to know and they're going to admit it. This is a wise and understanding people. Okay? And they're going to see the error of their ways, man. None of these nations, they all had a chance to rule. And none of them could do it like the Israelites. Okay? But especially Esau, man. Esau is the fucking worst, man. He turned his whole place into a garbage can, just so he can accumulate massive amounts of power and control over the people in a short period of time. But then in the process, he destroyed the very earth that he has to live on, the very air he has to breathe, the very water he has to drink. All right? But yeah, man, this shit is just another example of how this ruler Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is unprofitable, man. All right, and of the Edomites, the ruling class, the elite, these international banking families, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, they're the ones pulling all these puppet strings. You know, the puppets are your governors and presidents. All right. And these devils at the top, they have their think tanks. All right. And all they do is think about how to fuck Jake up, man. They don't care what gets in their way. If the plants, the animals, you know, everything gets in their way, they're just going to, you know, mow that shit down and blame it on us, you know, which is what they always do, acting like we're the problem. Okay, but all these things, this veil, this, you know, covering the eyes of the people, man, the Lord is showing you, exposing what this devil is doing, man. That this is the man of sin. This is the son of perdition. Esau, Edom, the so-called white race. All right, you are the enemies of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the enemies of Israel, all right, and the enemy of life. All right, and that's why Obadiah 1 tells you these Edomites are going to be done away with. All right, and for good reason, man. It's like you got a tumor in your body. The best thing to do is cut that shit out. You know? But yeah, man, that's it. That's all I got. I pray this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakorash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and a sincere shalom to the hopeful elect, listening, learning, and or teaching. All right, shalom wa, abad babal. Shalom to you all.